Wah! Whoa, guys. Whoa. FriendlyBus really needs to start mining. What is what is going on? Is he dancing? No, there we go. So at the 20-second mark, he's going to begin mining, and we can see the income tab shows a considerable early lead for his opponent enthree. That's right, folks. Cutthroat match. Both these guys 1-1. Enthree, of course, going down to T, but defeating Rattler. FriendlyBus defeated Enjoy. Was beaten by me through some pretty nasty cheese, some stinky cheddar, and now they're both 1-1, and in their third game, a place in the semi-finals awaits against Marcus. And for the loser, horrible defeat, death, destruction, just general, just bad. It's just bad. So at the end of this game, we are going to have an interview with the loser. I don't want to say loser, with the defeated player, the runner-up of this game. And we're going to have a little word with them about what they thought happened. And from now on in the SSL, as players get eliminated, because every game now is cutthroat, all we have left are the semi-finals and the final after this. Every game is cutthroat, so we're going to be having player interviews, but they will come after the thing, so there'll be no spoilers. Now, this game has got like no music. I don't know what's going on there. Why is there no damn music? This always happens to me. Anyway, we saw an early bad start. Oh, there's the music. Very bad start for FriendlyBus, who forgot to mine for a bit. So I guess he was loading, or you know, he wasn't ready for the game to start. But he's gonna just harass the SCV a little bit. He's managed to even out. See, he's constantly just one behind in supply because of that bad start, and that kind of thing can really build up and build up. It's exponential growth. In a world where, you know, there was no fighting in StarCraft, one SCV at the beginning would just spiral out of control into a very large lead. Now we're going to go to production, and we're going to see both guys getting their orbital. In fact, Bus going first, going to get his orbital up much quicker, and he's getting a tech lab on that barracks and a second barracks, so a brother barracks for it, and he's dropping that first mule. So that fact is going to catch him up a little bit, I think. He is behind on SCVs by 2, but he's the first one with that mule. And now enthree failing to queue an SCV, so little slow there. And just tiny bits of sloppiness are allowing FriendlyBus to nullify and mitigate that lead. But enthree getting the factory, secret factory. Nobody knows. So what's he going to go for? I do not know. Hellions could work against this marine heavy army, but we'll see. Is he going to get a marauder? No, he's still going to continue to make marines out of this barracks, but he is currently supply blocked, so that's a bit dodge. And a third barracks, so we're going to see some 3 barracks, stim, timing push. Hate the word timing push. I think it's so ridiculously dumb. Every push occurs at a time and therefore has a timing. But I understand the importance is that yeah, it's got a meaning and it's useful, but it's just a ridiculously stupid name in my opinion. But you know, you play the cards you're dealt. I'm going to call it a timing push. So he's going to basically try and attack right as stim finishes, I should think. And he is getting, so, ooh, eBay, so he's probably going to try and get +1. And so he's poking with this marine, and he's keeping control of the tower, so Bus being much more active on the map, but he's actually behind in supply. Mainly because he's behind 2 harvesters, and now the first siege tank is out for enthree, and in fact a Viking too. I don't know what the Viking's going to do except to spot. Probably better off getting a medevac, honestly. But a medevac is more expensive, I believe. Or marginally. A little bit more gas, but less minerals. Anyway, but he is a bit short on gas. So now 2 gases up for the Bus US, and he's finally getting a factory. And we can see this Viking is just going to scout around a little bit, and this SCV is still chilling out, so that's a really nicely placed SCV. He can totally see the expansion timing. Now these Marines are going to clean him up, I think. Nope. Looks like it's time. No, I thought. Oh. Neither guy looking to expand at all. It is one base versus one base. And a tech, no, a reactor. So he's going to get plenty of medevacs, I think. And finally an eBay for enthree. This marine really nicely placed. He's basically a sacrificial marine. 50 minerals in exchange for knowing exactly when your opponent's going to expand. Meanwhile, this Viking doing a good bit of scouting, getting a lot of information. He saw that starport, he saw the eBay, great, but he also saw the add-on going on here, so he knows it's a reactor, which means these are probably going to swap. Yeah. So both guys going for very similar builds, you know. More barracks for, much more barracks. 3 barracks to 1. But finally a second barracks is going up for enthree, and he is going to expand, and FriendlyBus is not. So 3 barracks, and then starport with reactor versus 1 barracks, or 2 barracks, 1 factory for siege tanks, and also a starport with reactor. So the siege tanks, of course, the main difference here. We're going to have more marines on the red team, but we're going to have those tanks which are just going to smush. Oh, that's a lot of marines. And the tanks in siege mode, and they are sieged up, are going to absolutely crush the face of those marines if they get a good shot off, because they do that splash. But the medevacs are here, and that's going to be so very useful. Viking just seeing what's up. So he's got these Vikings out he's going to try and spot, but I think he would be better served to get a few medevacs. Bunker at the front, he's obviously planning to float real soon. And this SCV is going to start mining, I guess, over there. But here come the Marines. They've killed a few, and now the tanks are just... Oh, he did not siege, and he's losing a tank. He's losing that empty bunker, and he's going to be forced to float back home here. But nice shot from those tanks as the Viking gave vision. That was huge. The Viking came in, gave vision to these high ground tanks, and now, well, that's a lot better, but still, so much damage done. And now the lead in supply is 20 for FriendlyBus, which is massive. Harvesters are equal, so it's all army because he's got more marines and now medevacs coming in. So he managed to pick off that unsieged tank. He didn't have anything in the bunker. He was just a little bit slow in setting up the defense, and Bus managed to push in right at the perfect moment. You could say it was the best timing. Viking just spotting drops. Very nice, nice little move, but he's actually going to miss this. Is he? Ooh. There it is. He sees it. So really nice Viking. 2 of these medevacs have dudes. 1 of them does not, and this is actually going to kill a few. He's going to kill the medevac with these 2 Vikings, but there's so many marines now on the ground. They're stimmed. They're moving in. The tanks need to clean them up. They get 1 tank. There's 2 more behind though, and they do get away. They're low on health, and he does clean this up. And actually, that was really good for enthree, who's managed to really stabilize supply, float his command center, but now Bus is going to expand himself. So it's really close now, 58 to 55, and killing those 2 medevacs filled with marines, as well as a 3rd empty medevac for healing. Killed them both, which is, you know, super great, and almost no losses. Like, he lost 1 tank, I guess, but compared to what he gained, well done placing this Viking right here. Spotted the drop and was able to react accordingly. Very quick. Super use of these Vikings. I may have been premature saying that they were a bad move, because he is light on infantry, so medevacs are not that useful. He's going for sort of more of a mechanized strategy, but we will see. He's now actually taken a supply lead, as FriendlyBus has opted to go for his orbital. He's getting +1 armor, he's getting an armory, so it's kind of tech time for him, and we can see he's actually behind in supply. He's going to bust down these rocks, maybe in anticipation of getting a 3rd, maybe just so he can move around, chase Vikings. But green definitely controlling the air right now, and looking pretty good. He's really managed to turn this game around after the horrible fate that beset him when his front was broken down before he could get anyone in the bunker, and he had a tank left unsieged. Ugh. But thwarted that drop, and if you lose a drop and don't do damage, it can be a big blow. SCV just checking the whole way. So this game has taken a very slow meandering pace. Both guys took a long time to expand, but now they have expanded and they're just building up again. These Vikings are just wandering the map like sharks, but there's almost no engagement since the two we've seen. The one where Bus kind of won easily, one that enthree cleaned up handily, and now this Marine tried to get away, but no escape from the siege. And he's just going to keep sending these Vikings around, really clever. And we can see the units tab now, we see there are 6 siege tanks to none. But 4 medevacs, 5 marauders, 27 marines to just 15 marines. So it is definitely bio versus mech. And I kind of like seeing this, you know. The two strategies now. The 2 main strategies facing off. And he's going to lose these Vikings. Oh, he stims, he kills them all. 5 Vikings dead. That is huge. They can't spot for the tanks. They can't scout anymore. And now Bus actually controls the air with these 3 Vikings. Not sure what he's going to do with 3 Vikings. Except control, you know. He's just going to stop these Vikings from getting out of hand. But he's not really going to do any damage. So it's curious. He's going to try and drop on these tanks. He is going to drop marauder bombs on the tanks. But this tank is not sieged, so really nice, but this does give him vision. If enthree had his tank sieged, he would have killed his own tanks. But he unsieged just in the nick of time, but these marauders are still doing sick damage. Ugh. That was really close. Now Viking just going to chill in the corner. And we're back, completely level, 97 to 94. And now enthree has decided it's command center time. But a key thing to note is that a lot of tanks were lost, to use the passive voice. I think 3 or 4 tanks were killed in that little drop, and not too much from the red player, who is going to say, I want to know where the gold at. Meantime, enthree is going to probably go, based on this placement, for the less lucrative but less exposed blue base. And I've always said Xel'Naga Caverns is a very interesting map, because if a Terran can get a planetary fortress on there, it can be very difficult to break. Marine's going to work on these Rockies. They bloody hate rocks. So, yet again, there's been an engagement, and then both guys are backing off, expanding, and kind of taking it very passive in this game. enthree has not really ventured beyond the halfway point of the map, save for these Vikings. He's going to see this force thanks to the tower control. That's really good, but it's too fast for him. That's the power of bio, is that you are really fast, especially with stim, compared to those tanks. And now he's going to clean this up. Good. And this is looking really scary now for enthree. He got caught out of position with those marines. He lost a lot. He's now 20 behind in supply. But he does have to back off, because that is a lot of tanks. That's 4 siege tanks, 5 siege tanks. And he can't wander into that. So he just needs to back off, take control, try and use some drops, maybe abuse his mobility. It's really saturated here, so he needs that 3rd base. Bus, on the other hand, is now finally transferring his workers, because he's landing that command center. And is he going to morph a planetary fortress? We will see. We will see later, I guess. Meantime, he's got this massive bio ball. Ugh. And now actually, enthree is going to go for the gold. Of course, we saw them before. So he's going to try and deny this base, and he's going to succeed in doing so. No tanks means no, no tanks, no dice. With these tanks, he has the power, but they have to siege up, they have to move slowly. He can only cover a mobile area, sorry, not a mobile area, a fixed area. So if he tries to encroach beyond the area of the tank fire, he will lose. On the other hand, if he stims in, he's going to get hit, but he's probably got enough marauders. He's going to take down some tanks hard, and this is looking pretty bad for enthree, but he's got a couple more tanks behind. Needs to siege this one up, and FriendlyBus does bail. Again, he did some damage, but he lost a lot of his army there, so I'm not quite sure It was probably a good deal. Supply-wise, he lost out, but he killed high-tech units, the siege tanks, and we are down now, units tab, 6 tanks. 6 was the number before, but this is considerably later in the game. 2 more tanks do pop. He's making them out of 2 factories, so he can really produce as long as he has the money, and he's actually getting a 4th command center. But here comes the engagement. The tanks are shelling those marauders, and they do have to bail, so that was good for enthree. He's leapfrogged his tanks, slowly moving forward, and now he can cover this command center, which is now a planetary fortress. On the other hand, Bus has decided, I'm feeling pretty safe, I've got my opponent contained, I'm the aggressor. Ugh, that was not good though. He said, I'm the aggressor, as a drop comes in and kills a tech lab. No, a reactor, sorry, on the starport. Reactors take a long time to build, so that's a nice little snipe. But FriendlyBus said, look, I'm not in danger of being attacked, so I'm going to go for the orbital command, get the extra money. Made that Terran choice between having all the money you can imagine, or being invincible. Bus has gone for all the money. enthree has decided he wants to be invincible. And now, FriendlyBus, you cheeky monkey, secret base, but this is going to be found. Oh man, straight away. Oh man, found the base. If he lands, he could kill the SCV. That would be nice. He will. And is Bus going to cancel? Well, the SCV is going to die. But if he doesn't cancel, that could be bad. He's actually going to defend with these marauders. So the SCV goes down, and now the Vikings bail. Nice little move there from both players, I guess. But the secret base, no longer a secret. It did not remain secret for very long at all. Empty bunker just blocking the whole way, really nice. Now, I like Bus's position here. Whoa, maybe I don't. Let's look at the income tab, just go... Ah! Oh my goodness, so many mils. 6 mils on the gold. He'd been saving them up. Wow, it's pretty intense. And his income just like trebled. I was gonna say, and now his second planetary, that's really curious. Down there, but he's feeling worried about stim sniping, I suppose. I was going to say that I really like Bus in this position because he's got the mobility of the dropship. He's going to now drop here, but he's going to walk into... No, he's not. He's got the mobility of the dropships. He's got the extra mobility, but on the other hand, enthree has this really solid fortification here. As this drop comes in and is not going to do very much damage at all. Could kill some SCVs, but actually he's not microing at all, and he's going to lose everything. Blech. That wasn't great. But here we go, a Banshee now, really clever, FriendlyBus. I missed him producing this, as he is getting +3/+3 for those bio units. On the other hand, no ups yet for the tanks, and this Banshee is just going to work on these unprotected tanks. So really nice, and he's got cloak, but he is scanned. So Banshee, really nice move, killed 2 tanks. And Banshees now are going to do really well against tanks that aren't protected by Marines, which means enthree is now even less mobile than he was. As it was, he could move around with his Marines because, you know, the tanks were able to kill everything that approached them. But now there are Banshees on the field, and they can just work on those tanks. Sufficiently many Vikings, so that was not an even trade. Killed 1 tank for 2 Banshees. Before it was 2 Banshees for 1 tank, it was more like it. But FriendlyBus is looking strong. He is now maxed out, and he's going to sneak in the back here. He is maxed out to 126, and he's sneaking in, and the tanks are way out of position. There's a couple here at the back, but they are not going to be any match for this massive bio ball, and this is scary now for enthree. I think this is going to be GG. He's in the production facilities. The army is on the way home, but he's going to actually stop it on the low ground and kill 2 tanks. Really nice. But now Stimpack has got all these guys in the red, but there are just so many of them. There's too many of them. Meantime, little counterattacks going to be cleaned up, and this is the end for enthree. enthree, you are out of the SSL. It's always next time. FriendlyBus, you are going to move into the semi-finals. So we have our final 4: T, Marcus, Chobro, FriendlyBus. Well done, you guys, and it's these guys even coming to kill the planetary. Really good game here. Really good TvT. Really nice. And so well done to FriendlyBus, the bus. I beat him, he beat enthree, therefore I am better than enthree. I'm a better player.
I'm here with
Because I
N3.
beat FriendlyBus. I'm the best.
So what are your thoughts on your game with FriendlyBus?
It's pretty good. Not bad.
So how did he beat you? I didn't see it.
Out macro.
Our macro. So I heard you had 4 bases.
Yeah.
How many barracks on that? They say 2 barracks. I've always said. So your build specifically goes for half a barracks per base?
Well, we just have, actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't drop the barracks until I get my second base.
So do you think you can sustain that
Probably
of
not.
with your
I think
income?
This game is a good demonstration that it just doesn't work.
It's not
You need to
sustainable.
go back to the drawing board, I think.
Not against a guy like Bus. He's a skilled guy. Do you wish him luck in the semi-finals?
Yeah. No.
Righto, thank you. Keep drinking. Drown your sorrows, bro.
What about you?